It's playoff time in Nashville. This is Catfish on Ice with Chad Minton, Rich Howe, and Kyle Perkins. Yes, we can say that. Even if it's a sweep, even if it's a gentleman's sweep, we can say that it is playoff time in Smashville, and we're ready for it, and we're here for you. Gentlemen, how are you doing? Kyle Perkins and Rich Howe joining me tonight. How are you guys doing?
I'm fine. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I'm doing
Yeah?
pretty good, even though it seems like the Leafs have already won the cup in the first round in the
Amen.
first game. If
Give those
you pay
dudes,
attention to the Bird app, anyway.
give those dudes their props. They are rolling the Tampa Bay Lightning right now.
Oh, Rich, you got that smirk on your face because you hate the Tampa Bay Lightning so much. I know why you're smirking over there.
Yeah, well, it's been a really good game. It's been a
This
great
game
game.
one. It's game one.
Doesn't matter.
I'm
It's
sure
all
Tampa
good.
will respond, but they are
I'm sure
getting
they will.
crushed. This Hurricanes Bruins game has been a really good
man.
game.
Yeah, there's been some
It's been a good one.
lots of pushing back and forth and all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, I'm looking for that one to ramp up.
Definitely the top fight on the card, quote unquote, of the night is definitely going to be Minnesota St. Louis. I mean, I am all about
That's
that
going to be
game.
a good one.
Yes,
sure.
I cannot wait to see how that game goes. Full star-studded players, full of interest if you're a Preds fan because they're in our division. We know all about both of those teams. Sign me up for that. Let's see how it goes. But this is episode 126 of Catfish on Ice with Chad Minton, Kyle Perkins, and Rich Howe, your host. We are excited to bring some playoff hockey talk to you tonight as our beloved Nashville Predators are also in the playoffs. And we're going to dish out some bold predictions for this series. We're going to dish out some hot takes, some bold predictions, some things that we think might happen. And I've got some good questions to ask here. Rich has some too.
Yep.
We're going to put it out there.
See what happens.
Yep. Kyle, how are you feeling about this series right now?
I'm like the 1% in the entire country that is cautiously optimistic.
Oh, good. That's good.
1% is maybe generous.
I mean, it seems like we've had the Avs number this year in the regular season. Won a lot of strange games with them.
True.
But that said, it seems like Nashville always comes to play when they're playing Colorado. Because every game they've played this year, it's like, oh, Colorado's going to beat the brakes off of them. Colorado's going to beat the brakes off of them. And they've yet to do it. Somehow Nashville's found a way. I don't think Colorado's still not built for the playoffs.
That's good. A good observation. Yeah, for sure.
That I'm not saying Nashville's going to win the series, but Nashville is going to do to Colorado what they did to Carolina last year, and they will be the rock that breaks them, and then the next team that gets them is probably going to roll them.
All right.
Yeah. I like it.
Well, so we've got a lot of teams like that in this playoffs, gentlemen. I mean, if you're thinking about teams who we're like, okay, it's time to put up a show this year. You think about Colorado. You think about a team like the Florida Panthers. You're thinking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm sorry, I got dogs crawling around the floors behind me. So if you hear tapping, I'm so sorry. It's the life of a dog owner. I'm sorry. But anyway, disregard that. But yeah, think about teams like that. You've got like multiple teams in these playoffs who are like, it's time to put up or shut up. Edmonton Oilers, I would throw them in there. Like Tampa Bay Lightning, yes, they've won back-to-back, but everyone's watching them like, can you three-peat? Can you do it? So, yeah, it's like you got so many teams where like, yeah, you're ready to win a Stanley Cup this year. Mm-hmm. And obviously the Nashville Predators are going up against one of those teams. So Kyle makes a good point. It's like, can the Predators at the very least make this a grueling exciting series where they kind of wear Colorado down, force them to play the style that we like to play,
Absolutely.
which is not always pretty, as we all know, and not let Colorado get in this comfortable fashion where they like to just skate freely. Here's what really worries me about this series is the counterattacks, because Colorado's speed is going to burn us. You're going to see Yossi out there pushing the pace like he does. You're going to see Forsberg crash in the net. You're going to see Tanner Jeannot crash in the net. You're going to see all that stuff that the Preds usually score goals on. But when that doesn't work and when that doesn't happen, do we have the fortitude to hold off Colorado's counterattacks? That's what scares me.
That's a really good point. I think, like you said, if the Predators can play their game and just rough up the Avalanche a little bit, I don't think they like that. I don't think they're used to it. I think that'll give them a little bit of help if they can do that. And then, like you said, just stop the counterattacks. That's the main thing for sure.
Yeah.
Once Nathan McKinnon gets that turn on you, you better be a bad man to stop what's coming at you.
Yeah, they're fast. He's fast.
And you think about Yossi. Yossi commits to charging the net a lot, and he's typically paired with Fabro. I don't think Fabro is a good enough defenseman to stop that.
Yeah.
Personally, I still would rather see Carrier with Yossi, just to help.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that. I can get on board with that.
Because if you think about it, Matthias Ekholm, he's not coming a whole lot farther in than the blue line.
Nope.
It's how Matthias operates.
Very rarely.
We don't call him Yeeter Supreme for nothing.
That's right. Yeet it from the blue line.
But I believe Carrier is a little bit more sound, could handle that rush coming the other way better than Fabro could.
I like that. I'm right there with you, man.
But like you say, once they get that train rolling, there's not a lot you're going to do to stop it. And quite frankly, with the goaltending that we have now, I don't know that it's there to stop it either.
Yeah.
And not hating on either of them guys, but neither of them are UC Saros. I've tried to explain this to a few people at work who don't watch hockey. It's like, they're like, well,
good luck.
They're like, what's this?
Choir.
Why are you? It's just a goalie. I said, okay, think football.
Mm-hmm.
Think the last game before the playoffs, and Tom Brady throws his shoulder out. I said that is the equivalent of what happened to UC Saros because
absolutely.
Hold on. Hey, so you just described telling your coworkers about the NHL playoffs and all this stuff. God bless her soul. Maya boss, she's an amazing woman. She's so smart, but she does not watch hockey, and she could give two craps about it, and that's okay. She's very intelligent, and she knows a lot of other things. But I was trying to tell her, hey, next weekend we got the Preds coming in town for a home hockey playoff game. We got to be ready for it. We got to staff up. And she goes, the NFL hockey playoffs are coming here this weekend. And you know what I did? I just nodded my head and I go, yes. Yes, yep. They're coming.
Yes. The NFL playoffs are coming.
The NFL hockey playoffs are coming. And she's going to do what she does, and she's going to run our place, and she's going to be a great person at that. But there are some people out there who don't give two craps about what we care about, and that's what I got out of that. But yeah, so NFL hockey playoffs. Let's get ready for it.
Those are just people you don't need in your life.
Nah, I mean, she's a good person.
I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Several people were like, well, don't y'all just have another guy on the bench? I said, yes, there's another guy on the bench, but it doesn't. That's like having two franchise quarterbacks on the same team. It just doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
And they're like, well, what if somebody gets hurt during the game? I said, you have one extra goalie and that's it.
No,
like,
you got the emergency one. You got to explain the emergency one, though.
Who's our emergency goaltender? Like, we better figure that part out quick. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
All right.
Never
all
know.
right. So good stuff there. All right. We're going to get more into this. Again, this is episode 126 of Catfish on Ice. Chad Minton, Rich Howe, Kyle Perkins, your host tonight. The full crew is with you on this playoff first round eve of the Preds going up against the Colorado Avalanche. Their 8th straight playoff appearance. It's kind of become a little bit expected that they're always in the playoffs and they're always in this position. That's why a lot of Preds fans, and I wrote an article about this like a couple weeks ago. It's like it's not as exciting as it used to be to make the playoffs. It's just not. Even in a season like this, where almost nobody gave them a decent chance of even making the playoffs, it still doesn't feel the same as it used to. But guess what? Winning changes everything. If this team can figure out a way to upset the Colorado Avalanche, all those naysayers are going to come out in droves, and they're going to all of a sudden be like, we want the cup, and we believe in this team. Just wait for them.
Yeah. Oh, you know that's going to happen.
But you got to look at where we're at.
You got to look at the half cup, half empty, half full scenario. Yeah, it's been 8 years. They haven't had much success, but there's 16 other teams sitting at home doing nothing right now. So it feels
a lot like 2017, gentlemen. I mean, I'm telling you, like everyone went into that 2017 first round, and a lot of people have brought this up on Preds Twitter. And it's like, I mean, going into that Chicago series, no one gave this team a chance. Nope. I mean, the Blackhawks were still a dynasty at that point, and the Preds had a season finale against Winnipeg that was a complete disaster, much like they did against Arizona. And I mean, they proved everyone wrong. I mean, they did. I mean, they not only did they do that, but they swept the Chicago Blackhawks. We don't need a sweep. All we want you to do is like prove us wrong. Like all the experts right now are predicting a sweep right now of the Preds by the Colorado Avalanche. Maybe it goes 5. I've seen a few predictions saying it might go 6. That's the best I've seen. I haven't seen anybody predict the Preds to win this series.
Yeah. You'll be hard pressed to find that. Even with UC Saros, it seemed like a little bit of a tall task, but like you said, stranger things happen. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, it happens. 2019 when the Columbus Blue Jackets swept the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. They stole the Preds Thunder from 2017 and said, hey, Preds, we'll raise you on your sweep, and we'll sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. That's what the Blue Jackets did before the Tampa Bay Lightning proceeded to go back-to-back after that. So
that's right.
So other things we have to get into tonight. We're going to also – I want to address Ryan Johansen, a player that I've been very highly critical of personally, and I am always going to call myself out when I've been critical of a player in the past, and that player proves me wrong. And that player is Ryan Johansen for me, and he has had a great year. He really has. He's been overshadowed and overlooked because of all the other individual milestones on this team. If Matt Duchene's not having the season he's having, if Roman Yossi's not having a historically great season, if Tanner Jeannot's not doing what he's doing in the Calder Trophy rookie race, if all these things aren't happening, we're talking about Ryan Johansen and the numbers he's put up. And I looked at it today and I'm like, wow, this guy's had a really great season, and we're just not talking about it enough. Do you guys kind of see where I'm coming from on that? Or
Oh, for sure. I think I actually read your Predlines article. It was great. You mentioned the fact that both Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansen were not protected in the draft, in the expansion draft. Nobody wanted either one of them to be here this year. And they've proved everybody wrong. And even Johansen has quieted the naysayers with his the way he's played this year. So, it's been refreshing to see after the past few seasons that he's had.
I mean, Johansen's still playing his pass first game, but he's got 26 goals. That's a monster season for
Yeah, for
Johansen.
him. Definitely for him. Yeah,
Especially
definitely
with
for
this
him.
style of play. That's just he's
Yeah.
the setup guy. He's always been that, always will be that. That just goes to show you what it's crazy the amount of production the team has gotten and where they're at. It just
I know,
doesn't
right?
make sense.
And they're still just a wild card team. But we're gonna dive into that with Ryan Johansen. We're just kind of letting you know what we're getting into. And then we will close out this episode. If you're listening to the audio version right now, we joined Tell It As It Is podcast, a fellow podcast on Hockey Podcast Network, ran by Griffin and Christian, who covers the Colorado Avalanche. Griffin's been on our podcast before. We did a full preview crossover style with the Tell It As It Is podcast. It was a really good meetup with them. And we are going to put that at the end of this episode. You're going to have to go download the episode later tonight or tomorrow morning. If you're a late night bird, you might be able to stay up late and record and download it, but it will definitely be available for you tomorrow morning. If you're listening to it right now, then no worries. Just keep listening. It will be at the end of this episode. But that's what we got. We're also going to end this episode with the fun things on the interwebs we like to do every now and then to end the episode on a really fun and happy and positive note. And I've got some good things I've come across, both hockey related, mostly hockey related this week. A lot of the fun things I came across that I think the guys will like a lot. So we'll end the episode with that. So let's get into some bold predictions, gentlemen. Not just predicting the series, because we've already kind of done that. Let's go ahead and be full disclosure real quick and remind everybody, if they didn't listen to the last episode, what me and Rich predicted on the series. And then we'll get Kyle's prediction because he wasn't on that episode, and we want to get Kyle's prediction on the series. But I'll go ahead and tell everybody, I'm being totally honest, I'm a naysayer, I'm a critic, I'm a Debbie Downer. Call me whatever you want. I'm calling Avs in 5 here. And it's mainly because Saros is not in net. If Saros is in net, I would be tempted to go Avs in 6 or maybe Avs even in 7. I would still pick Avs to win this series. I just think they're a more deep team. I think it's a bad matchup. The Preds drew one of the worst matchups they could have drawn in the first round out of all the Western Conference playoff teams. They just don't match up well with this team, in my opinion. So I'm going Avs in 5 because I just do not trust not having Saros in net. Rich, remind everybody what you predicted, and then we'll go to
I said the same thing, Avs in 5. And with Saros, I would probably go 6 Avs in 6. But I hope they prove me wrong. That's what I'm looking for. Just suck it up and prove all these people wrong would be amazing. But like you, I'm a naysayer
including us.
Well, including us, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm gonna go Avs in 5.
Let's hear Kyle's prediction here.
I'm gonna say Avs probably because we're gonna be realistic, but I'm gonna say it goes 7.
Oh, I love it.
All right,
I think they make it difficult. You know, this team, whenever they've played a good team this year, they've played up to them. So let's hope they can do it a few more times. I don't want to get swept. I want it to be a hard series. I want them to play their style of hockey. And as long as they go out playing their style of hockey and they get beat not trying to be something they're not, I'm okay with it.
That's a really good point because we've talked about it numerous times how when they play a fast skating team, that's what they try to do is be a fast skating team, and that's just not their game. If they can just do their thing and go with it.
And Kyle, you are right about that. They do tend to play up to their competition, and they also play down to their competition, and that is an argument that a lot of the people are bringing to the table in terms of, okay, this is not going to be a sweep or a 5-game series like me and Rich are predicting. No, it's going to go farther, and a lot of people are alluding to that fact that the Preds do tend to play up to their competition, and they did play very well against the Avs in the season series. But the problem is a lot of those games had really weird storylines involved in those. We know about the COVID game where both teams were decimated with COVID problems. And then I can't take a lot of stock into the second to last game of the regular season just last week. I mean, I know it was a thrilling comeback win and it was exciting for Preds fans and stuff, but I mean, how much were the Avs really engaged in that game? And I can just give you a little bit of a snippet into our conversation with Tell It Avs It Is podcast, and they had the belief that, you know what, I mean, this team, the Avs, take it for what you will, but they said that the Avs weren't really fully engaged in that game. So know.
Yeah,
looked like they were trying awful hard to me. But.
Me too. Yeah.
Well,
for sure. To give you a preview of the preview, I didn't say any much when they were saying that because I didn't fully agree.
They did say that,
it's
though.
all good. They did. They felt that they were not, that they were just kind of cruising. I'm not sure. Not so sure. But
stick around for that conversation, though.
Yep.
It was still a good conversation. But we'll see. All the chips on the table now. I mean, first of all, guys, did you guys catch the game of the season? I could not sleep for it. I stayed up all night over it. The Kraken and the Jets played the season finale of the 2021-22 season. I actually had a watch party at my house.
wow.
I created invitations. I grilled out. I made all these snacks. I had all these lawn games lined up for people to play, and shockingly, nobody showed up.
So here, Kyle, I have a picture of Chad in his room with his bobblehead and his dogs, and that's the party. He's like, Kyle's got a daughter. He knows, like, daughters, when they do things, they take all their dolls when they're having a party.
Oh, yeah.
And line them up. Yeah, that's Chad. He's got his bobblehead and his dogs.
Nobody showed up for my end of NHL season watch party. Kraken versus Jets. Nobody showed up for it.
Wow.
I was shocked.
Did the team show up for it? I mean, they have it all year. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Where was it at? Was it in Winnipeg or in Seattle?
Do you know?
Do you even know?
I don't even know who won.
If it was in Seattle,
so weird that they
say people.
It was so weird they had this random ass regular season finale like on a Sunday at 1:00 in the afternoon, I think. But I was trying to plan cornhole. Like, we were gonna play some cornhole. We were gonna have some prop bets on who would score first. But nobody showed up. Nobody cared.
I think that's very telling of where the NHL thought the Kraken might wind up this season.
Or was that a replacement game from like some shutdown games?
It might have been.
It probably was. It had to have been. It probably was. Yeah. Fair to say.
As I like to say, scalpers night off. Nobody's.
That was literally the scalpers night off, Rich. That was literally.
Unless it's in Seattle. I would say probably if it was in Seattle, everybody went because those tickets are expensive, and they're like, I'm not going to waste my money and not go.
I will say, though, the Seattle Kraken are a more likable expansion team than the Vegas Golden Knights will ever dream to be.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
The game was in Winnipeg, and everybody hates everybody from Vegas except the goalies.
That's true. That is a good point. Yes, everybody liked Marc-Andre Fleury, and everybody likes Robin Lehner. That is absolutely true.
And the young kid that they've had playing for Lehner, he's a very likable guy too. The Thompson boy, he's very.
I like Mark Stone. I'm sorry, but I'm weird. But I like Mark Stone. I appreciate his game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I'm not going to go so far as saying I like him.
It was fun to see him fail, though. It was very fun to see.
Yeah. I had a meme made for that, and I didn't post it, and it's too late now, and it makes me sad.
Well, it's okay. You'll make up for it. You always do. All right, let's get into our bold predictions. We got some bold predictions we're going to dish out here for episode 126 of Catfish on Ice, brought to you by DraftKings and part of the Hockey Podcast Network, as we are the night before the first game for the Preds against the Colorado Avalanche. The first game before they shock the world and upset the Colorado Avalanche. That's how I'm framing it. They're going to shock the world, just like they did in 2017. 2017 was not that long ago. They can do it again. All right. So here's our first bold prediction. I'm going to throw it out there, and we're going to all answer this.
All right.
Here's my first one. How many goals will Forsberg score in this series? And you can frame it however you want. You can say this series is going to go 7, and that's why he's going to score this many goals. We are really opening this up to how your prediction wants to go. Let's go to Kyle first. I know you predicted this series is going to go 7. Do you think Forsberg is going to have a big impact, and how many goals do you think he might score, Kyle? And then we'll go to Rich.
I'm going to go with 5 goals. And
that's strong.
Because I think he's going to have a hero game. I think he'll have a hat trick or a 2-goal game or 2-2-goal games. But he's going to have that hero moment. He's good for about 2 of those every month or so. So I think he's due. And what better time?
Absolutely.
Well, I see Philip Forsberg over your right shoulder right now.
Yep.
So he better. I see Duchesne as well. Okay, as you move your head, that's a good little duo there to have behind you
for sure.
First of all, everybody, if you're watching right now and you're active on social media, first of all, thanks for watching right now on Twitter, or if you're watching on YouTube. But there is a new hashtag that all the Preds fans need to be using for these playoffs. It's a hashtag Stand With Us, which has been that's been the motto of this team since the early days of this team making the playoffs. So I love that they brought this slogan back. But Stand With Us, hashtag Stand With Us. It'll put on Twitter. It'll put a little logo of the guitar pick with the TriStar, which is really cool. So use that hashtag. They're tweeting about the Preds in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to Rich. Rich, how many goals is Philip Forsberg going to score in these playoffs? Or in this series? Let's just go this series.
A bajillion. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not good at guessing. Let's go
on, Rich. These are bold predictions. You got to be bold here. Okay. That's what we need.
I'm gonna say 4.
Okay.
I'll say 4, and I'm gonna say he better get more than what I'm saying.
All right.
If he struggles, if he has any type of struggle, and Matt Duchesne has any type of struggle, is going to be not good. Not good.
Well, yeah. All right. I'm going to really make some people mad here, and I'm just call it like it is. I don't know. I think Forsberg is he's not going to go in hero mode like Kyle is saying, in my opinion. I'm not saying he's not going to do anything well and he's just going to be completely just horrible. I'm just saying I don't know how many goals he's going to score. I'm going to go 2 goals, which is not enough from a player like him.
2, wow.
And we're going to go into this offseason being extremely paranoid and running around like our hair is on fire, which I don't have any, but it's okay. But
your beard
running around like our hair. My beard's going to be on fire. Because we're going to be worried about him leaving. That's all we're going to obsess over. As soon as the Preds get eliminated, from that exact moment they get eliminated, just wait for it. It's going to be hysteria, paranoia galore in this town about Forsberg's not going to resign. We're horrible again. Like, yada, yada, yada. But I think that Forsberg is going to have a hard time in this series. He'll probably score a couple goals, but I'm just really worried about this team being on the penalty kill too much. Like that's gonna be their work. It's hard to score goals when you're constantly having to expend all this energy to kill penalties.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna take away from Forsberg right there. So
Absolutely.
I do think he's gonna score a couple goals. But
yep. Our friend Lindsay's in here, guys.
Hello to the champion in fantasy, and then she throws in and Chad and Rich.
Yeah.
For everyone who doesn't know, Chad and Rich, myself and Rich, were not fantasy champions. Rich, what place did you finish in? I finished in like 5th, I think.
I think 7th.
They don't get
maybe
5th
8th.
place is 5th and 7th place doesn't get trophies. That's all I know.
I got rolled at the end.
Kyle, congratulations, man.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Perkins is our fantasy Catfish on Ice champion. It was a very competitive league, too. Like, this was – everyone cared. Everyone focused on their teams. And, Kyle, you won it. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, and my team was definitely a playoff team because if you look at the point totals for the entire season, Matt had us all just blown out of the water.
Oh, he sure did.
If he didn't have all those injuries, he would have wiped the floor with me.
He was killing people.
It was so
for sure.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
Lindsay, and I was the guy that took Crosby in the draft and had him set on IR forever.
Yeah,
and I remember getting people. I got crap for it because I took Crosby, and they're like, he's just gonna sit on IR, and he ended up being one of my highest point getters.
Yeah, Lindsay got 3rd place, which is awesome for her. Very
good.
Cool.
Yeah, Lindsay had a good team. Lindsay was another one of her. She had a really good team. Yeah. I think I finished 5th place. All I can say is Philip Forsberg, man. He probably carried me to 5th place. Yeah,
that's right. I remember you got
I'll take Philip Forsberg. He took me to 5th place. But it was a fun league. It was great. Thank you, everyone. A lot of the people in the league we talk to like every day in our fantasy league or in our chat, our podcast chat.
Yep.
So thank you, everyone. We can't thank you enough for joining the league. It was a lot of fun. We'll do it again. Kyle, congratulations, man. It was fun. It was tons of fun. And so, yeah, Lindsay, we love you too. And you had a great team as well. So, all right. So I'm sorry about being so negative about Forsberg, who carried me to 5th place. I shouldn't be so mean about Forsberg. But, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a really hard series for the Preds to pile up the goals. I just really do. They're going to have to pull the Avalanche into their style and hope they can be similar to the way they play the Flames, which is a low-scoring 2-1, 3-2 type of score. I don't know if that's possible. But if they can manage to figure that out, well, then Forsberg's not going to be the person who's scoring a lot of goals. I don't know. I think that Forsberg – I got this series going in 5, so I can't predict Forsberg to score too many goals. So I got him scoring 2 goals.
And we hope that Kyle is right.
Yes, of course we do.
For sure.
All right, let's go to the next one here.
All right.
Let's go to the next one here, which is – this is our next bold prediction. I'm pulling it up right now. All right, guys. How many fights will Borowiecki and Janot combine for?
A bajillion.
You're just gonna predict bajillion?
A bajillion again. That's a good question.
These are bold. I named them bold predictions for a reason. You got to think about these. This is not like an easy, like, just throw it out there.
I'm gonna tell you, I really hope that they can keep their heads and don't do something stupid to get kicked out or, Borowiecki, he's got a short temper, man. He gets going. I don't want to see him having to sit on the, in the penalty box for 5 minutes or Janot. And they need Janot to step up and get some scoring going again. So I need him to keep his head as well and not, Don't let them push you over, but also don't make stupid mistakes. So,
well, I'm kind of framing it like this. So, we know that the Preds probably have to figure out a way to not be in the penalty box, but Borowiecki and Jeannot, they're probably your top two players who get in fights, and they're really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
They normally do a really good job at handling their business when they do fight.
Yep.
So do we think they're going to pull it back a little bit? I guess that's the point of this question. Do we think that Jeannot's going to pull it back? Do we think that Borowiecki's going to pull it back? That's kind of the point of this question. I think that they are. I really do. I think that both Boro and Jeannot are not going to fight as much. They're going to pull it back. I could see Jeannot getting in maybe 2 fights. I'm going to call it right now. My prediction.
2.
Jeannot's going to get in 2 fights over the course of the series. Boro's going to get in 2 fights. I'm calling 4 fights between the 2 of them.
Yep.
Over the course of 5 games. So it's not going to happen regularly. But they're going to do their best to pull it back. They're going to do their best to pull it back. I do think that.
Yep. What do you think, Kyle?
In the words of Billy Bob from Varsity Blues, I give it a 10. I think Boro has 7, 1 per game, and Jeannot has 3.
Wow.
Ooh.
I think they turn the wick up. I honestly do. And then I think you're going to throw in Cunnin a couple of times. If Olivier's in the roster, you're probably going to have him a couple of times. I think it's going to be spicy. I also think Nazem Kadri will get suspended in the first round because he's Nazem Kadri, and it's what he does.
Yeah, that could happen.
Which means we'll probably lose one of Duchesne or Forsberg in that suspension.
I would love to see them. I'm not saying change who they are, but I don't want to see them get into these moments where they put themselves in self-inflicted penalties where they're like, they let their emotions get the best of them. And then all of a sudden you're putting the Avs on a 4-minute power play because you lost your cool for a second. And you're trying to set a tone, and you're trying to like show like, this is who we are. We're tough guys. And I get all that, but like, you got to understand who you're up against. And you might be hanging with them on the scoreboard in the first period, and it's 1-1, and we're all excited. And then all it takes is the officials making an example out of you because you're,
which they
will, a little too crazy or whatever, and they will. And then all of a sudden, Preds, we're all up arms because it turns a 1-1 close game turns into a 3-1 game,
right?
Because we just maybe lost our cool a little too much. And then you got to think about Riddick's in net or maybe Ingram. We don't know a game 1 starter yet. Hines would not commit to it, which we can kind of talk about that. But
weird.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Like, it just scares me. It really scares me that the fish to leave it in the hands of the officials and what they want to call, that can flip the game completely.
So here's my take on that.
Before you give your take, let me give you some breaking news. The Tampa Bay Lightning just tied for the worst shutout in a playoff opener ever. Before you give your take, let me give you some breaking news. 5-0.
Wow.
Shutout. Yep. Jack Campbell pitched the shutout. Good for him.
Good for Jack.
Yep. Way to go.
I do like him.
I do too. I like him a lot. All right. Go ahead, Kyle, with your take.
Okay. So I don't want to see lazy hooking penalties. I don't want to see stupid slashes. But if you're going to go out there and fight and you're both going to sit down, I'm okay with that.
Make it count.
Don't take instigators. Do not take an instigator penalty.
Right.
Nashville's had a lot of trouble doing that this year. Don't take the extra 2 minutes. But go in there and, make yourself known, beat the brakes off the guy. But don't take any extras. No extra credit. Just go for your 5 and come back.
Yep. I like that. And I'm okay if there's a bunch of the after the whistle scrum stuff. I mean, that's always going to happen. But, just
nowhere to stop.
Right. Just don't. Yes, exactly. Yeah, don't. Keep your cool about you and know when to.
All right. Well, that's gonna be what we're all focused on, right? In the series, is everyone's gonna be focused on can the Preds avoid constantly going on in the penalty box? It's been a theme all season, so it's going to continue. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go to our next one. This one's a little bit easier to predict, but still kind of tough. Will Riddick and or Ingram, because we don't know who's going to be the game one starter. We don't know for sure. All right, will Riddick or Ingram avoid getting pulled for the other one in this series?
No.
Wolf. Oh, really? No.
So basically what I'm saying is, like, are the Preds going to be in a moment where the game gets out of hand and they're going to have to put the other goaltender in?
Kyle, the question's like, is it Riddick or Ingram? Kyle's like, yes.
Both of them. Yes, I can fully see this happening to both of them. Have you seen the Avalanche play on the power play?
Oh, my God. It's so funny.
Is it going to happen game one? Are we that serious about it?
Will Riddick or Ingram get pulled? Yes.
And I'm being honest. Game one,
you are. I
probably.
It's going to be David Riddick. I mean, let's frame it this way. First of all, I agree with both of you, and I know it's kind of a crazy question, but it's kind of sad that we have to ask that question. But yeah, I totally see it happen. And let's be fair here. Even Pekka Rinne, the great beloved Hall of Fame goaltender that Pekka Rinne is, had to get pulled in the Stanley Cup final for UC Saros. So it happens. Yeah. It happens more so than people realize, actually, in the playoffs. But, yes, it's probably going to happen, unfortunately. But I guess let's frame it this way. Are we 100% positive that David will be the starter? Because John Hines was in his press conference today, and he wouldn't commit to it. He might be playing gamesmanship with the Avalanche coaching staff, but I'm just saying he didn't commit to it.
With the jury still out on how hard the Avalanche were playing the other day, David Riddick gave up some goals, and then he settled down and did not get scored on in the shootout. If you start Ingram, that's going to be a mistake. That's my opinion. I would go with David Riddick, definitely.
Mm-hmm. All right. Kyle, how are you feeling about it?
Yes.
Kyle doesn't know what to say.
I really don't. You got to think they start with Riddick. It doesn't make sense to start Ingram. Ingram's been your AHL guy all year. But then again, that said, he's played a lot more minutes this year than David has too.
It's true.
That's true. That's a good point.
He's
against players that are nowhere near the level of the skill level of the Avalanche. But I do get what you're saying though. Just the repetitions alone and not sitting cold on the bench does mean something.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's such a tough dilemma. I mean,
it is. It's huge. It's a big deal for sure.
That's the worst injury Nashville could have had.
Mm-hmm.
If Roman Josi goes out, it's really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not catastrophic bad like Hughes.
I don't know. Those are both equally bad for me, but I don't know.
I'm not sure.
So going into the era, well, let me say this real quick. Going into the Arizona game, and then I want to get your thoughts on this, Kyle. Going into the Arizona game, I was very, very adamant that as long as Ingram can have a semi-quality good game where he doesn't cost the team the game and he looks comfortable, makes a lot of saves, and I was expecting the Preds to figure out a way to win that game, at least get a point, and draw Calgary. But either way, we were doing the last episode live watching that. But but he just he didn't deliver for me in that game. He didn't look comfortable. He let some goals by that. I know that there was some traffic in front of him, but we're talking about shots that were from way outside. And they just snuck up on him. You can say they snuck up on him, whatever you want to say. But he didn't do it nearly enough for me in that game against Arizona to close out the season to give me any kind of confidence that he's ready for a game one playoff stage. And I was hoping that he would do that so that we didn't have to start David Riddick. No disrespect to David Riddick, but Connor Ingram's the future. Like, he's the next in line to be backup. So I wanted to see Connor Ingram really play well in that game, and he didn't really do it. Kyle, what did you see from Connor Ingram in the season finale against Arizona?
Well, as much as I hate to admit this, that game was past my bedtime.
It was past a lot of people's bedtimes. I was falling asleep towards the end of the episode. I'm not going to even lie about it.
At the end, Chad and I were like, we stayed up for this.
I remember, like, I woke up at like 11:30, 12 o'clock that night and looked at my notifications on my phone and said, oh, God, and went back to sleep.
Yeah, it was ugly.
So I've been kind of wondering myself about what happened with Ingram. I didn't know if it was the defense in front of him or if it was all on him or.
It wasn't all on him. It wasn't. It was the same issues that we've been talking about. I mean, it was the team definitely took their foot off the gas and coasted. And you even saw some quotes about it. It was Roman Yossi I read, who left a quote out there on the team website that said, we definitely didn't push as hard as we should have in the last part of that game. Which, I mean, you love the honesty from the captain, but it's like, why is that happening in the last game of the season to begin with? But you do appreciate the honesty at least. But so definitely is not all on Ingram. But I did see at least 2 goals in that game, and I want to get Rich watched the whole game. I saw at least 2 goals where they were from way outside off of like face-off wins, and the puck like had a lot of distance to travel, and it seemed to just sneak up on Ingram. He just wasn't ready to make the save. Rich, did you kind of see the same thing, or
I did?
Am I being too hard on Ingram?
No, there was a couple that were kind of weird that he didn't have a good look at, but the ones that he did have a good look, he had a very good look. There's, like you said, there was a couple from pretty far out, and he just got beat. He had a clear vision to the puck, and when it was being shot, and he just didn't make the save. I'd like to think there's some nerves going on, but yeah, I mean, it made him playing that way made a complicated situation even worse. So, Lindsay's in here. She said it's definitely got to be Riddick because he apparently has played well against the Avalanche his whole career. So that's a good. And if anybody knows, Lindsay knows. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I will trust her judgment on that.
Absolutely.
And I agree with Lindsay. Big time because here's the deal. You run with Riddick. Riddick has shown that he can handle high shot totals this season. He's got 3 games this season of 40-plus saves. So we at least know that he can handle a high barrage of shots. He's been in this league a long time. He knows how to deal with the adversity. He knows how to deal with the NHL speed of this game, whereas Ingram is, I mean, yeah, his numbers are ridiculous in the AHL for Milwaukee Admirals, but he has still not gotten a full complement of games to really know and get comfortable, and you throw him out there in the playoffs. And I mean, it's a tough call, but I will say Riddick's leash in the playoffs is as short as it can be. I mean, I'm telling you, if we're going into the second period and the Preds are already down 3-0, and a lot of those goals are because of soft goals, quote unquote, I don't think the coaching staff is going to be that shy of pulling Riddick and putting Ingram in. To go back to this question of bold predictions,
I'd say probably not. I think I agree with you there. I think that's probably what would happen.
It's going to be a short leash for either one of them.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right. Let's go to the next one here. This one's a little bit more. We're gonna have to really think about this one, and it's got everybody so fired up over this. Who will have the most points, Yossi or Makar, in this series?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with
All right,
Yossi.
that was an easy prediction there from Kyle. He just went Yos. He was like, Yos.
I agree. I think so too.
If you said goals, I'd probably go Makar, but points, Yossi.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going Roman Yossi as well. This is clean sweep. All three of us are, and I want to see if you guys agree with me. But my thought process on why I'm saying Yossi is because he is way more instrumental to this team's offense than Cal Makar is. It doesn't mean that Cal Makar is not important. He's not a great player. Of course he is. He's one of the best defensemen in the league. And if he wins the Norris Trophy, I'm not going to be that upset about it, honestly. But I do think that Roman Yossi is going. If the Preds are going to have any success in this series, there's almost a 9 out of 10 chance that Roman Yossi is going to be involved in every goal that's scored in this series. Almost certainly. Like, I mean, he's going to have whether it's the secondary assist, whether it's the primary assist, whether it's the goal. Roman Yossi is going to get a lot of points in this series. So we're all in agreement there. Yossi will have more points than Makar.
Lindsay
all right,
says
Rich,
Yossi
you had Rich, share some of your bold predictions that you had for the.
All right, I had a couple. So, will the triumvirate of Ellie Tolvanen, Luke Cunnin, and Philip Tomasino step up and provide some scoring in this playoff series against the Colorado Avalanche?
Ooh.
Are we going to see those three boys get some goals on the board? They've been struggling mightily. Tomasino, I'm not going to say he struggled. He's played good, but we know that Luke Cunnin hasn't been able to hit the broadside of a barn, and Tolvanen's been spotty. So,
will Tolvanen even be in the lineup?
Well, it's
gonna be hard for him to score. It's gonna be hard for him to score if he's not in the lineup, Rich.
Can't score from the press box.
Score from the press box. Do y'all think? What do you think? You think they're going to step up, or is it just going to be same old, same old?
Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, you answer first, and I'll go.
So last year against the Hurricanes, there was a player that showed up that had not showed up generally all season, and he's one of the three that you just named.
Yep.
That was Luke Cunnin. So maybe we've went from playoff Ryan Johansen to playoff Luke Cunnin.
I would love that. That'd be amazing.
I would love that.
So, and awesome. I've talked a lot of bad about Luke Cunnin here lately, but I really want him to be good. I like him as a person. I want him to be a good player. So
me too. Same thing.
I think if any of them does it, it's probably going to be Luke, and he needs to shoot more is his problem. Tolvanen, I don't know how you fix it.
Yeah, right. That's tough.
And
Tolvanen is the new Rocco Grimaldi. I feel like he's in the doghouse like constantly, just like Rocco Grimaldi was in the doghouse.
Except that he plays really good defense, and Grimaldi doesn't know how to.
I know.
Defense.
I'm not saying they're the same players. I'm just saying I know. He's getting the same treatment. Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Before anybody says anything else, here's a hot, spicy take for you right here. Lindsay says Preds win in 7.
Thank you, Lindsay.
I'll take it.
Exist. Yeah,
Lindsay's bold prediction. That's awesome.
Like it. That's more bold than anything we're predicting tonight. Yeah. What were you saying about Tomasino though, Kyle?
Yeah,
Tomasino. He's just if they'll leave him on a line, I think he can be productive. But he's not had a chance to build any chemistry with any line mates this year. It's just he's been a ping pong ball and just So I don't know.
I'm going to address. Let me address Rich's question here. Will Tolvanen, Cunnin, or Tomasino step up and provide some scoring? Well, I'm telling you, the Avalanche are super deep, and I fully expect the Avalanche, whether the Preds win this series or not, I think the Avalanche are going to get their goals. They're going to get their fair share of goals. They're going to score. So it's a matter of, can the Preds hang in what's going to be like a track meet? Can they win a high scoring series? And that's why so many people have a hard time picking the Preds in a series like this. Whereas if they were going up against the Flames, you would get a lot more competitive predictions, like series predictions. You would get more Flames in 7, Preds in 7, maybe Flames in 6, but you wouldn't get all these Flames in 5s or Flames in 4s because the Preds would probably match up better with a team like the Flames. But the problem is we only expect the Avalanche to get their goals, whether it's 4 goals a game, 5 goals a game. We expect it. So we can't ask Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene to do it all. Like, we need something else. So it's a fair question that Rich asked. I do actually think that Tomasino is ready to score some clutch goals. I do. And like Kyle just said, you got to match him with the right line mates and let him be successful. I love seeing Tomasino play with Ryan Johansen. I love that pairing. I do. What do you guys think about that? They've been toying with that lately.
I think it's a good mentoree process for both of them. You know, Johansen could take him under his wing and maybe help him out, help him along a little bit, give him some confidence. That would be awesome to see. I want to see some big things out of Tomasino next season.
I would expect them to see when we see the lineup. When we see the lineups tomorrow for the starting line combinations for game 1, I would expect Johansen to be on a line with Tomasino. I would fully expect that.
Yeah, I think so, and I really like that combination. If you go back way back, maybe even last season, Johansen was talking about working with the younger guys and how much it meant to him because how much Foligno worked with him when he was a young guy. And kind of took him under his wing. And he's like, I want to be that guy for these guys coming up in Nashville. I want to be the one that they all talk about, that they learn how to be a pro from, how to play, and all this. So I really love having Tomasino with Johansen. And they seem to feed off of each other. They're both kind of goofy in their personality types. So they have that little relationship between each other. And I think they figure out who's going to play on that other side with those two, and you've got a good line.
Yep. I like
Love it.
So I've got one more.
Yeah, give us your last one, Rich.
So I just saw on Twitter, like around 5 o'clock, apparently UC Saros is like medical skating by himself. He's doing all of his treatments and apparently doing his best, doing everything right to try to get back into this, get back to play. They announced that he's not going to play in game 1 or 2 of the playoffs. My question is, can the Predators hold off Colorado long enough to get UC Saros back in the net? Barring that people might not want him because they don't want him to get hurt any further.
Yeah, you're just saying, like, is he going to be available? Is what you're asking.
Do you think they can last long enough to possibly get him?
That's like, none of us are medical experts here, Rich. That is such a hard question.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's gonna be ready to go for the first.
I feel like I feel like the team's being completely like hush hush, and they're keeping everything close to their chest right now.
Yep.
Why would they come out and just say, "Oh yeah, for sure he's out for the playoffs"? Like, why would they do that? It's gamesmanship. They're playing a little bit of a chess match here, probably with Colorado. They want Colorado have to wonder, which I don't really know how much that changes things, but if they don't have to announce it, they probably know a lot. They're just not going to let us. They're not going to tell us these things unless they have to. So, unfortunately, I don't see any scenario where Saros is in this series, even if it goes 7 games somehow. I don't see it.
I don't know the severity of his sprain. I know there's different grades. I had a high ankle sprain when I was young, and it was unholy bad. Like
Yeah.
crutches for weeks, and
Oh wow!
then
And he's
just
already up skating.
yeah. I saw he was skating, and I was like, "There's no way," because I mean, it was absolute ungodly pain. So I don't know if they've
Yeah.
got a couple of pieces of sticks stuck down in those skates and made it where got him duct taped in there so he can't rotate that ankle or what. But
Yep. That's a good
shoot,
one. Here, real quick. Go ahead, real quick. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if it comes down to a tolerance thing, and let's say they do, let's just hypothetically speaking, let's say that the Preds like eke out a game in this series and it goes to like a game 5. Would you guys be okay with forcing Saros out there for a game 5? Let's say the Preds are down 3-1 in the series. And would you be okay with that? Like, I wouldn't be.
I mean,
I wouldn't be okay with that.
I definitely don't want them to do anything that's going to hurt him for next season.
Long term.
You don't want to cause
exactly.
long term.
It's not. I mean, they've played well.
That's my fear.
If they can keep this team together and switch some folks in and out, I feel a lot better about where they'll be next season. And there's no point in jeopardizing it when it's going to be a tough road to begin with. So I don't think I would want him to start.
That's my fear, is that the Preds somehow eke out one game, which is what I'm predicting. I'm saying Avs in 5. So I do think the Preds are going to win at least one game in the series.
Yeah.
My worry is that we're going to go into like a game 5 situation and they give Saros the chance or the choice to play, and he's going to want to play. I mean, he's a competitor.
Yeah.
But that's what scares me. And then he goes out in the game and he gets roasted and he re-injures himself somehow, and then we go into the off season and Saros has to have surgery. Like, those are the things that are scaring the crap out of me right now.
Yeah, I don't want to hear
so
that stuff.
We'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
We will.
Yeah. So we don't know.
Real quick before we move on, Lindsay has this is a really good question. It's who do we think who could be the unsung hero in this series?
Great question, Lindsay.
I'm going to say obvious, David Riddick.
Unsung hero, yeah.
Stand on his head and just be awesome.
Look at Rich preaching to the choir over here.
That's some analytical.
But I mean, it's obviously
awesome.
That's the most obvious choice there. Yeah, but it's true though. It's absolutely true.
It is. Yeah.
All right, let me think a little bit more here. If I'm not saying David Riddick as the unsung hero, I am going to go with, man, I really got to think about this for a second. I'm thinking about at the bottom 6 right now and players. I'm going to go with a veteran who
all right.
He's been around a long time. He can do some things. I'm going to go with Nick Cousins.
There you go.
Nick Cousins needs to bring his veteran experience, his ability to play in these moments and lead the young crew in the bottom 6. That doesn't mean he has to score a bunch of goals, but I need him to play smart. I need him to play those crucial bottom 6 minutes in a grinded out playoff series that it requires. I'm going to go Nick Cousins.
Yep. That's a good one. He can be an agitator. Draw some of the Avalanche into committing some penalties, things like that.
I could see Nick Cousins scoring a couple goals out of nowhere. I could see him doing that.
Yep, for sure.
So right. Rich went goalie, Chad went forward. I'm going to go defenseman.
And
Matt, turn it off. I'm going to go with Matthias Ekholm.
There you go.
Matthias, if he plays the way he can play, that we've all seen him play before. He hasn't played that way this year much. But if he hits that stride, he is a threat to score on that second power play. He's a threat to score off of face-offs, and he's also outstanding defensively. So
Yep.
if Matias hits his game and he's playing on that penalty kill and he's keeping that Colorado power play from scoring 800 goals against Nashville on the inevitable 75 penalty kills they're going to have over the course of these games. I think Matias could really be the savior of the series for him if it.
Ooh, I love it. I like that. That's a good pick. All right. Good question, Lindsay. That's our bold predictions for the first round of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs against the Colorado Avalanche. Let's see. We got a good YouTube comment here from Bobby Davenport. Thank you for commenting on YouTube with us. The record shows this team can win against Colorado, even with Juice out. If the guys adjust to support the goalie, they could easily upset.
Love it.
Love it, Bobby.
I agree 100% with that.
I do too.
If they keep stupid chances away from whichever goalie's playing, they can play with anybody.
Yep. I agree.
Thank you, Bobby, for commenting. That's a really good point there. Love the optimism too. All right, let's throw some love to our sponsor, DraftKings. We got a new offer for you as we're going into the playoffs. DraftKings, for all of our hockey fans, we hope you're hockey fans. If you're not a hockey fan, it's okay to so watch. But for our hockey fans here, DraftKings has a great offer here for you right now. DraftKings, the official sports betting of the NHL, has an unbelievable offer for the most exciting playoffs in sports. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $100 in free bets no matter what, win or lose. So you can make a big bet or a small bet. It doesn't matter. You can still win big with DraftKings by just downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN, bet $5 on any NHL team to win, get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details on gambling practices, and if you need gambling help, you can look it up there. And, of course, I can tell you this personally because I use DraftKings every day almost. Like, I'm active on DraftKings. It's so much fun. It's easy to use. It's safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want, and it's really easy. It really is. Like, I mean, you can make small bets, big bets. It doesn't matter. You can still win winnings really quick. So go do that. DraftKings Sportsbook app, promo code THPN for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
So I've got a random thing. I've had the Kings and the Oilers game on over here.
Yeah.
And it's Jonathan Quick and Mike Smith playing goalie for their respective teams. And this has got to be some kind of record because Mike Smith is 40 and Jonathan Quick is 36.
The combined age?
Yeah, combined age of starting goaltenders for a Stanley Cup playoff game. Somebody smart needs to find that statistic because I'm pretty sure that's not happened very often.
And look at the Kings. They're up. Kings strike first. They're up 1-0.
All right. I'm watching the St. Louis Minnesota game. St. Louis is up 2-0.
Well,
yeah.
We'll revisit our me and Rich's we did our predictions for each matchup in the first round. And we left it out there, so the receipts are out there for all the people they can scorn us later for how wrong we are. But our receipts are very, very out there. All right, we've got Omar on YouTube right now. Thanks for joining, Omar. BP03 says, should the Preds keep pushing the physicality and try to wear the Avs down or avoid the box at all costs? I worry about the Preds penalty kill. Kyle, why don't you field that, man? Good question from Omar. Thank you
very much.
I think if they have a chance at all in this series, they're going to have to beat the Avalanche up. And that's literally and metaphorically speaking. They're going to have to play hard, heavy hockey if they have any hope. If they pull back at all, Colorado's just going to zoom right past them. And If they get it in their head that they can zoom without a smash at the end of it, you're hurt.
Yeah.
Are
That said,
those the analytical terms there?
that is some highly
Zoom, zoom,
technical
smash.
terminology.
All right, that's awesome.
This is who they are, gentlemen. This is who they
It
are.
is.
The Preds are who they are. This is not the time of year to be trying to change who you are. I mean, you could have
No.
tried to make adjustments and change who you are earlier in the season, but you cannot make an overhaul of how you play your hockey this late in the season going into the playoffs. So they have to live and die by how they play. It might burn them in the end, like Omar just said in his comment. He's worried about the penalty kill. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where the penalty kill is going to have to step up. These players on this team, these players who play on the penalty kill, your Tanner Janot's, your Mark Borowiecki's, your Luke Cunnins, they know that they're going to have to step up in this very, very big area of the game, which is the penalty kill. They know it.
Sure.
I'm sure they're working on it left and right in practice right now to make sure they're in the right position to block shots. They got to get in shot lanes. They've got to lay their body out there. I've already said, have you guys seen anything on Jeremy Lauzon? Because they said he was close to coming back going into the Arizona game, and I haven't heard anything since then.
That would be huge if he's back.
I haven't heard anything since then. I don't know what's going on with him, but he was skating, and they were making it seem like he was ready to come back possibly for the Arizona game. He didn't come back for the Arizona game, and I haven't heard anything since then, but I would love to get him back for game one. We might hear about it tomorrow. We don't know.
Yeah. Bobby in here says, I miss him. We need him. Yes, I would definitely, if he's available, I would play him and Borowiecki for sure.
I'm hoping that they were just trying to get him ready during that Arizona game because they knew they were locked in the playoffs. I know they wanted to get that next seed up, but
that makes sense.
That makes sense. Well,
so
we need Jeremy Lauzon. We need his penalty killing. Like, that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to Jeremy Lauzon. I'm thinking about him being on that second power penalty kill unit. And he's the type of player where he is going to block shots. He's going to be a big body, and you're going to need that. Let's just be honest about it. We're going to need a robust penalty kill in this series. It's going to have to really shine. Probably more so than any other part of the team is the penalty kill is going to have to shine.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Matt Benning sometimes takes some not good penalties, so we don't need any more of that. So
let's get into our next segment here. This is Catfish and Ice, episode 126, as we get ready for game one of the Preds versus the Avs. No one's given the Preds a chance. It's okay, but crazier things have happened. We'll see what happens. Can't wait for game one on Tuesday night in Denver. All right. I want to get into Ryan Johansen's really great season that not enough people are talking about. And it's fair that no one's talking about it because you know what? A lot of things happened with this team individually. We're all caught up in Roman Josi. We're caught up in Matt Duchene. We're caught up in Berg. We're caught up in Tanner Janot. I mean, we're caught up in so many individual performances this year that we kind of forgot about Ryan Johansen and the fact that he set a Preds career high for his goal totals. He put up 11 power play goals. I mean, which is by far a career high for him. I mean, I think if Matt Duchene's not on this team, we're all talking about Ryan Johansen, but because they were both kind of attached at the hip and they were both high scrutinized players, we're focusing more on Matt Duchene because, yes, he did set the single season goal record for the – but let's talk about Ryan Johansen, gentlemen. I mean, this dude had a great season. We kind of overlooked it a little bit.
He did. I'm just looking at the goals and the assists. Tied his single season goal record with 26, and he got 1 point away from tying his best point total of 64. So yeah, totally like you said, he has been overshadowed a little bit. But it's so good to see him get back into the swing of things, get his game back, because it's been a bit. It's been quite a while, like at least 2 or 3 seasons. So good to see him producing again. Get everybody off his back.
Left unprotected with Matt Duchene. I mean, what a wild story that is to think about.
Oh yeah,
the fact that the Preds left both Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansen unprotected in the expansion draft, and at the time, we weren't against it. We were like, that's fine. But looking back on it now, it's kind of crazy to think about, because guess who they did protect? Philippe Myers. They protected Philippe Myers. And like that's just, I mean, I'm not trying to be hard on Philippe Myers. I mean, he's had a rough go of it, and he just got recalled back to the team. He went on a loan to like another AHL team, but like
the Toronto,
it's kind of wild.
Yes. Toronto.
So it's kind of crazy to think about the fact they protected him over a player in Matt Duchene, who actually ended up going on to be your leading goal scorer, and then Ryan Johansen, who is a top 5 in every major offensive category on this team. I mean, it's just like,
and he's had his like top 3 best performance of his career. Yeah, I mean,
I will say one other devil's advocate on Ryan Johansen that I did come across. Ryan Johansen was actually 6th in the NHL in the entire league. He was 6th in shooting percentage at 22%. So take that for what you will. Maybe his goal numbers are a little inflated. That's probably fair to say. But either way, when you throw in everything else that Ryan Johansen does on the ice, he gives you faceoffs, he gives you blocks, he gives you hits. His intangibles, he's a great leader on the ice. Things you can't measure in a box score, he brings to the locker room. So, I think he's been overlooked a little bit. So I wanted to throw Ryan Johansen some love, especially considering that I have actually been a very big critic of Ryan Johansen. So I'm always going to throw respect where respect's due when a player proves me wrong. So that's Ryan Johansen.
And like what you said about like power play goals, like he's never gotten anywhere near close. Well, 7's the most he's ever had in any season. He's at 11. I think your article said he was tied with Yossi for second most power play goals.
Duchene had 16 this season.
Yeah,
but
that's strong.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's top 5 in every major category on the team in offensive numbers, basically. But Kyle, kind of tell us what did you see from Johansen this season personally? What did you see from him?
A little bit of new life, especially like I was saying earlier, playing with the younger guys. He looked like he was having fun again. Johansen got his first career hat trick this year,
which was insane, right?
Yeah, it's wild that he's been in the league this long and he's never had a hat trick. That's absolutely crazy, and it's just he looks like he's having fun again. And whenever looks like he's having fun, he's playing his best hockey. That, and he's actually shooting some more. Always been a huge criticism of his. So it's good to see him shooting.
Yep, for sure.
And so now we have to really, really keep our fingers crossed that he carries that into the playoffs, because he could be a total major X factor into the Preds hanging on the scoreboard with the Avalanche.
Yep.
All right, what's going on in the NA? Let's go.
He's vibing.
He vibing. Bobby Davenport says he's vibing. I love it.
He's vibing.
All right, awesome. I love it. All right, let's see what's going on here on the NHL scoreboard as we are in night 1 of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs here. The Blues continue to lead the Minnesota Wild 2-0. We're coming up midway point of the second period. Perron has a goal and Ryan O'Reilly has a goal.
Boo.
So there's that. Let's see. The Kings have jumped out to a 2-0 lead.
Wow.
I'm telling you, the Kings are they're a Cinderella team. If I've ever seen it, I know they're the Kings.
2-1.
But is it 2-1 now?
Just update.
McJesus.
Oh no.
McJesus scored one.
McDavid just said, "Not so fast." All right,
I
still
want the Oilers to lose so bad.
My point stands. The Kings can actually be the Cinderella team of the playoffs. They definitely could. Let's see. The Hurricanes completely blasted Rich's Bruins. I'm so sorry, Rich.
That's all good. They deserve the loss after the way they played.
Yeah, I didn't see great I didn't see great goaltending there from who was the Bruins goaltender? Mark. Yeah, I didn't see good goaltending from him tonight. Like he didn't look comfortable. He let some goals slip by him.
Yeah. But he was really good until that first one went by, and then that just after that, floodgate opened, man. Yeah, they scored. After they scored the first one, Carolina scored another one like within 2 minutes, and that was just the end of it after that.
The Canes are really deep scoring wise. You know all about that from last season. They have so many lethal scorers on that team. I really put them in the same category as the Avalanche, the team we're about to go up against.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just a team that's a speed team. They'll burn you left and right. Yep. And I'm pretty sure I had the Canes in 5 in my prediction. I'll have to go back and look to make sure.
I think I said Bruins in 7. I said Bruins in 7, I believe.
Yeah, I went Canes in 5. Rich, you went Bruins in 7, so we'll see.
But I might be rethinking that.
No, I got it pulled up. I got it pulled up here. All right. Our receipts are saying whether we're right or wrong. So, all right, for the world to see. And then let's see what else we got here going on. The Maple Leafs completely obliterated Lightning 5-0, as we alluded to earlier. Jack Campbell gets the shutout. So, wow.
Yep. Austin Matthews had a couple.
Well, it's crazy. He's going to be the MVP. We totally expect Austin Matthews to be the Hart Trophy winner, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There was a big, massive fight between the Lightning and the Maple Leafs. The Leafs actually fought off a 5-minute penalty, so that was good for them. Lots of penalties, lots of fights. It was from what I watched, was a good game. So
there you go. All right, let's share. So if you're following Sportsnet on Twitter, or there's some other outlets that do the same thing, but basically how it works is you screenshot this jumble of logos, and when you screenshot it, it automatically gives you your Stanley Cup final prediction, and it just automatically there's no strategy to it. You just screenshot it, and whatever 2 teams you get, it's a lot of fun. And it's really fun to see which teams you end up with. So we're going to go around the room here and let everyone know who we had. I'll start with mine. I drew the Capitals versus the Minnesota Wild, which honestly, if it happened, I would be all for it. Sign me up for it. Could you imagine a Stanley Cup final with Alex Ovechkin involved?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that would be must watch. The Minnesota Wild have plenty of superstars. Can you imagine Marc-Andre Fleury being in net for a Stanley Cup final, along with Kaprizov out there, the young phenom, and all the former Preds players out there as well? I mean, I thought that was a funny Stanley Cup. It's not going to happen, most likely. It's pretty far-fetched Stanley Cup final. But Rich, what did you draw on your screenshot?
So I drew the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers. Which
that could happen.
That could happen, but you want to talk about American viewership going down for a Stanley Cup final? That would be it right there.
I don't know about that.
No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it would be
an all Canadian.
NHL would love that.
Final would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, with the star power on those 2 teams, that would be.
Oh yeah.
McDavid NHL versus Matthews.
Salivating over that. And then we have Kyle needs to reveal his because it's the most comical one of them all.
It's so funny. It's so perfect.
I'm pretty sure mine was drunk, like bad.
Yeah.
Like Chad saw them on Broadway one night bad.
Yeah.
So I drew Nashville and Tampa
For a Stadium
and
Series rematch. Stadium
the
Series
stadium.
rematch for the Stanley Cup.
All of the games will be played in the Stadium Series jerseys. So
Oh boy, we don't
Oh,
stand a
please,
chance.
no. No, don't do that.
Oh, anything.
If I gotta
Anything.
watch those jerseys and no.
Mm,
I go back and
Yeah.
forth with those Stadium Series jerseys. Sometimes I like them, and then other days I wake up and I hate them.
yeah.
Depends how I'm feeling.
I've got one. I've got a
That's
blank
funny
one.
though. That's
It
really funny though. Tampa versus
is funny.
Nashville for the Stanley Cup. That would be. I don't know if the NHL would be very happy about that one.
No.
two
No.
Southern teams, they would have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
wouldn't
Tampa
like
Bay,
that.
they
All
probably
right.
love that. So
Speaking of which, Rich, I totally sent. You cracked me up in your. What did you compare Andrea Vasilevsky to?
Violet Beauregard. Yeah.
A Willy Wonka reference here.
Yeah. Violet Beauregard. She's the little girl who ate the what was the
gum. It was the gum.
It was a full meal.
Yeah.
And when it got to the
Yeah.
dessert, she turned into a big plum, and she was all swole
Well,
up.
we're referencing. I sent him the picture where Vasilevsky's standing up against what player?
Carey
What was
Price.
that player he's standing up
Price.
Carey
against?
Price.
Carey Price, yeah. And
Yep.
like Vasilevsky looks like gigantic, and that's not even the Photoshop picture. I sent you the real life picture.
I know.
A lot of people have photoshopped it to make Vasilevsky look really large, but I mean, even the non-Photoshop image of this is just like ridiculous.
He looks like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man for sure. Yeah.
And
Speaking of which, let's
go ahead.
there's
Kyle.
only like an inch and a half height difference and like a 15-pound weight difference in those two too, and that makes it even funnier.
But there's a
it's a weird image.
2 foot width difference in the two. Obviously, something's not right.
We also asked a lot of our followers about who they're going to hitch their wagon to if the Preds get eliminated. And I think overwhelmingly everyone's going to cheer for the Flames.
Yeah.
I would expect that.
That'd be good.
That's who I'm going to cheer for.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go
Let's
Flames.
go to
If Kings are still in it. I don't mind the Kings.
Yeah, that's a good one too, yeah. Flames or Kings, I'm cool with both of those teams. In the Eastern Conference, I mean, it would be I'm being selfish here, but if I'm not being selfish, it would be cool to see the Florida Panthers win it. But I just don't like seeing teams who have never won a cup win one, because then that just leaves one less team that we can be with that's never won one.
You don't want to be alone in our misery.
Yeah, that's just me. That's just me being petty at that point. But I don't have a problem with Florida at all. So we'll see. All right. Let's do some fun things I saw on the interwebs to finish out episode 126 in
Good
very
stuff.
positive fashion. I'm a big animal person. I love animals. You can so you guys can look this up right now. This was shared earlier today at Explore.org. So just type in at Explore.org if you want to look it up right now. It shows a mama panda helping her baby panda get down from a tree, and it's very adorable and it's very sweet. And one thing you'll know about pandas, if you like really know anything about pandas, they're very clumsy, just like humans. They always like fall over, and they always like fall out of trees, and they're very lazy, just like we are. And so you got a baby panda can't get down from this tree limb, and mama bear is doing everything she can to help her baby out of this tree, and it's so adorable, and I loved it.
That's awesome.
And it made my day so much better when I came across it. You guys see it?
You're like, oh,
it just makes you feel better about it. It makes you feel better about everything.
I wish I knew if this screen sharing thing would work. I would play it on here.
Oh,
try it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt anything.
You have the tweet?
Our viewers will love it. I'll tell you that. We can share it. Kyle's working on it.
So I'm gonna add it real quick.
Yeah.
Because I think I have to add it. So I'm gonna add it and see where it goes. So there it is. Little mama trying to push the baby panda up the tree. Yeah,
it's
there
adorable.
You go. It is. That is adorable.
It makes my heart so happy. All right.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, did you all see? Let me pull it up real quick. This corgi who predicts things by shooting a ball into a basket.
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I've seen that several times, and he picked Colorado. Obviously, I saw that.
Yeah, it's such a. This corgi's name is Steph Fury. Steph Furry, not Fury. Steph Furry, like Steph Curry, the basketball player.
Okay, I get it now.
Steph Furry, and it's this little corgi who stands up at the top of the staircase, and so I don't know if you want to look this one up too, Kyle. You can put it up on it if you want, if you can pull it up really quick. But it's like freaking adorable. This corgi stands at the top of these staircase, and you've got two goals. They almost look like little trash cans, almost with basketball little nets, and they put the logos of each team on these basketball nets, and this corgi makes predictions, and it's called Air Korg's official prediction. So I thought that was hilarious.
That is pretty good.
The corgi's probably going to be way more accurate in its predictions than we are. Let's just be honest.
I'd say so. Oh, Kyle got it up. Here it is.
Kyle for the win.
Kyle for the win. Stars, Hurricanes, Lightning, Wild. That's a good one. Kings.
Kings.
I think this one, I don't remember this. Oh, Rangers. Capitals. This one's Avalanche. I've seen this one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Dogs got something going there.
What I love most about the video is the corgi stares down at shot. Like he watches it. He's like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Don't mess
with me.
For sure. For sure.
My
Lindsay
final
said not the Stars. It's awesome.
My final fun things on the interwebs was the Atlanta Thrashers. Long live the Atlanta Thrashers. They still have a Twitter account that's active.
And it's funny.
They tweeted out a logo of the Stanley Cup playoffs with the Thrashers logo, and all they said was, because it's the cup.
That's great.
And they got over 4,500 likes as of when I screenshotted that. I'm sure it's way higher by now, but yeah, that's a really funny account. They share things all the time like they're a real team, like they're still a team.
Yeah, it's great. I follow them for sure.
I kind of wish they'd bring the Atlanta Thrashers back. I think they'd do better if they brought that team back. Like I really never did research on why. I never did research on why that team never lasted down there, but I don't know about the attendance numbers. I'd be interested to see if they just weren't getting the attendance. But
I don't know.
Geographically speaking, I mean, Atlanta's a huge market. I mean, they have been accused of not supporting their professional teams in the past. So
yeah,
I don't know.
All
right, gentlemen.
Seems awfully close to Florida and with two teams, and then Nashville.
All right. This has been episode 126 of Catfish on Ice. We're about to send you over to our segment with Tell It As It Is podcast, who covers the Colorado Avalanche, with Griffin and Christian. We had a great conversation with them, fully breaking down this series from their perspective as Avalanche fans and our perspective. But before we get to that and get you to that, let's go around one last time, give our final thoughts on this series. We'll go to Rich, Kyle, and then I'll close it out, and then we'll get you to the Tell It As It Is podcast.
Yeah, just I really hope that they can support Riddick. I think that's the key to the whole thing. Support him, keep the puck out of his net, protect it at all costs, and play your game, and don't get caught up trying to outskate McKinnon and Makar and those guys.
Well, they always say you need to dance with the one you brung, so they need to go in there and play hard, heavy hockey, knock a few teeth out, and they might have a shot at it.
Love it.
I like it. All right. Well, guys, I'm wearing my 2017 Conference Champs 2017. I wore it for good luck tonight. I actually never wear this hat. It's like doesn't even fit very well. It usually just hangs up, but I wore it tonight because I gotta juice up some magic here. No pun intended.
Yes.
Talking about juice, but we gotta juice up some magic. So I think what it comes down to is, can the Preds prove to everyone? Kyle, I'm about to give you a word that you hate: identity. Can they?
Identity.
Can they play to that word? I think that when John Hines goes to bed every night, that he says identity like 200 times
In the mirror, he looks
before he
at
falls
himself.
asleep.
He looks in the mirror and he's like,
No,
identity,
when he lays his head down. No, when he lays his head
He's
down
got
on the
one of
pillow, he
those
says
old
identity 200
school-
times.
He's got one of those old school cassette players in the
Oh, yeah.
the headset with the fuzzy ear cups on it.
Yeah. And he's like, and it's saying in
No.
real low tones, it's like, you can play to your identity. That's all it says. You can
There you
play
go.
to your identity.
All right. No, really, for real, I think the Preds are going to make this interesting only because Kool-Aid Man is going to randomly start game 3 and carry us to game 7, and we're going to win this series.
I saw that as well. Yeah.
Kool-Aid Man is going to be our starting goaltender. All right. That's all we got for you. We will see you Thursday to react to the first 2 games of the series. So stay tuned for Thursday. We will have plenty to talk about. And also stay tuned with our discussion with Tell It As It Is podcast. This is episode 126 of Catfish on Ice, brought to you by DraftKings with Chad Minton, Rich Howe, and Kyle Perkins. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We will see you later this week.
Have a good one.